You leaders are describing the crisis, the humanitarian crisis in Darfur.
More than 200,000 are believed to have been killed. No one has the exact numbers.
See, villages of up to 20,000 people had been burnt to the ground.
The film had similar echoes and resonances to what was happening in Darfur.
The Sudanese government armed and trained a militia known as the Janjaweed.
We'd also conduct interviews with the women, the surviving women, who had been gang raped by the Janjaweed so that they would give birth to a lighter-skinned child.
The death toll was an estimated 300,000 people and rising daily.
Darfur is a province off the west side of Sudan. The name Darfur is derived from the name of the biggest tribe in the area, the tribe of Fur. This large province used to be a Muslim sultanate. Sultan Ali bin Dinar ruled Darfur from 1898 until 1917. Every year, he would send the cover of the Kaaba to Mecca. Ali bin Dinar supported the Ottoman Empire in World War I. This angered the British and caused the British Mandate of Sudan to join Darfur to Sudan in 1917. The tribes of Darfur are originally African, and nearly the entire population is Muslim. The Darfurians have never truly been a part of the northern Sudanese culture. This has caused the Darfurians to feel neglected and inferior to the Arabs of Sudan. In February of 2003, a civil war in Darfur broke out. The Sudanese Liberation Movement and the Justice and Equality Movement in Darfur took up weapons, accusing the government of oppressing the non-Arab Sudanese people. The government of Sudan created a militia called the Janjaweed. The Janjaweed had their own agenda. They did not only want to silence the rebellion, but they also wanted to kill the non-Arabs. What happened in Darfur was similar to the ethnic cleansing of the Jews by Hitler. In June of 2011, the south of Sudan split from the north, becoming an independent country. Southerners of Sudan had almost nothing in common with the north. They were not Arabs, and they did not have the same religion of Islam. Will Darfur have the same fate? Even with a change of government, the racism towards Darfurians might not change. Racism between Arabs and non-Arabs is deeply rooted within the society of Sudan.
Judge you according to your color. They judge you according to your facial, let's say, features. If your nose is too wide, then you probably have African origins, not Arab. You might be as dark as the night, but still they will call you Arab because you have pointy nose, you have a tiny forehead, you have small lips. As lame as that, that's the criteria in Sudan. Once you have any of these features, then directly you're blacklisted, as you're either coming from one of the pure African tribes in Darfur, or you're coming, for example, from the south.
There are many different tribes and people who face the same racism and ethnic cleansing in Sudan. When the south split from the rest of Sudan, the Nuba Mountains were encompassed within the borders of northern Sudan. The people of the Nuba Mountains are African and share more in common with the south than the north. For this reason, during the days after the independence of South Sudan, the Nuba Mountains were bombed and many people were killed.
If the government wanted to solve any problems with the Nuba Mountains or South Kordofan, they wouldn't be bombing civilians. I'm saying that the government should stop bombing the people because this is killing civilians, not soldiers.
In Darfur, the struggle remains, and the question remains. Will Darfur follow in the steps of the south and break off from the rest of Sudan to create an independent state? There are many factors that play a role in the possible division of the north and the west of Sudan. Darfur borders the countries of Chad and Libya, sharing open borders. During the regime of al-Qaddafi, Libya supported the Darfur rebels. Independent movements in Chad continue to support Darfur rebel movements and encourage Darfur to become an independent state. Darfur is a land that is rich with both oil and uranium. That makes it a point of interest for many countries, such as France and the United States. The fact that Darfur is rich in oil and uranium gives it a better chance at future economical stability. Movements such as the Sudan Liberation Army and the Justice and Equality Movement are pushing for the independence of Darfur. Khalil Ibrahim had the help of the British in creating the Justice and Equality Movement. His secular ideology and support of negotiation with Israel helped him get more support from countries such as the United States and even Israel. However, it is highly unlikely that the Sudanese government will agree to the split of Darfur. After the split of the South, Sudan lost 85% of their oil reserves. The soil that is good for agriculture is in the south. North Sudan is just a vast land of desert. At a time where the Nile River is drying up, Sudan needs the natural resources in Darfur. The presence of Chinese products in the market has made it hard for Sudanese to make a living. The Sudanese government has a debt of $36 million.
Standing at $36 billion, with 80% of that in arrears. So unless you resolve your debt problem, you will not be eligible for new financing. The debt issue was not resolved when the oil was available because the government did not have an immediate need for it.
The future of both Darfur and the north of Sudan is unknown. It would benefit both parts of the country if the government of Sudan could control the Janjaweed and embrace the similarities between the Westerners and the Northerners of Sudan. Is unknown. It would benefit both parts of the country.